How dare you call me a Thundercats ho?
This is a family show.
Hello, Tom.
Hey, Dana, what is going on?
Not much. How are you today?
You know what? I'm in a great mood. This is a great week because
Good.
Godzilla and Kong came out, and you and I have seen it. I've seen it again. And
Have
I'm
you?
gonna.
I'd go see
Oh
it
yeah.
again. I would.
See,
Just
I'm glad
because
to hear that.
I
I know
can't.
you were skeptical. I know
I
you had
was.
some
I went in.
reservations.
I went in with very, very low expectations.
That's kind of the way to go in. I mean,
But
have kind of no
of
expectations.
the three things I expected, I did get.
I feel like this is exactly what I wanted it to be. And yeah, I agree. Like there are specific things that I want from a movie. That's why I give
Right.
Godzilla versus Kong a complete and total pass. It gave me. I went in. I wanted the correct answer to the question.
Right. And you got to
Godzilla
see it
fights
again.
Kong.
You got to see that again.
Oh yeah, multiple times.
Yeah.
It's just fun stuff. Um, so did you get anything new this week?
I did not, but
No.
that gives me an extra time to welcome everybody back to Two Guys Talking Toys.
I'm glad you
Loyal
remember because
listeners
I
and
completely
Tom.
forget constantly.
I have as well. There have been times where I have forgotten as well. But no, I didn't get anything new, but I do have things to share
Mhm.
when we get going. So did you get
Okay.
anything new?
I sure did. I am
Yes.
I'm gonna trying to think offhand because I actually got a few different things
You know, we both
this
saw
week.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire as well this week. And
Yes,
that's another one I would say go see it. It's a good
yes, go.
it doesn't necessarily feel like a Ghostbusters movie, but it's, like it doesn't
Yeah,
feel like it, but it's still a good movie. It's a good kickoff for whatever they got
you know,
going on next.
I guess if you were tired of them retreading the old stuff, and I say that like not with malice, like the other movies were good, and then the remakes were, hey, remember the Ghostbusters? This
Right.
one is very much okay. On with another story,
Right.
which was kind of cool. So it felt
And those little
it,
nods to the cartoon were cool.
yes, I've seen a lot of people say it kind of feels like a real Ghostbusters episode, which is nice. Uh oh no, okay, so
Is there a
I,
poison capsule in the box?
so I feel I probably shouldn't, but I feel the need to explain myself. Uh,
That's the burden of being a man, Tom. We should, and deservedly so. We should always have to explain ourselves because our behavior is uncanny.
so this is what I received in the mail. It is in fact Krang from the Ninja Turtles
I have
Man
never seen this
crossover.
before. It's
No,
Whiplash and Craig.
no, it's Megator mixed with Krang. So
Oh,
so
okay.
this was part of Walmart's Collector Con
Right,
nonsense
right,
where
right, right.
all the bots merged into Botatron and just grabbed everything. Uh, Now, as a general rule, I like to say to people, don't overpay for stuff that's going to just appear on shelves. Don't do it. Don't feed the scalpers, don't feed the trolls, don't like none of that. Because some people are just absurd. Which yeah, and if you go to shows and flea markets, whatever, like we've all seen it where someone's got something that they think is worth $1,000. You can go to Target and get it. Like just stop. Or you see like that table with those guys who just went and wiped out Target and now they want like double retail. Don't support those people. And I'm sure seeing this and hearing me say that, you're like, shut your hypocrite mouth. My this is Walmart is such an atrocious company
Oh,
and
here we go.
terrible about
We're getting into it early
distribution.
today. Go, Tom, go.
It's rant time, ladies and gentlemen. Walmart is terrible. I guess I will stop it at there. But my concern is almost even more so with the Collecticon stuff. Lord Grass, Terror, and the crossovers Moss Man. I legitimately don't know if I'll ever see that on a shelf just because Walmart's terrible. So I saw this pop up And again, I went against my own thing. I fed the trolls. I fed the scalper. I paid more than retail for this. I offset it. Here's my attempt
no
to
one
reconcile
would know
this.
any of this information until
Now, I think as soon as people saw this, they're like, "Well, there's no way you got that from CollectorCon. How'd you get it?" "Oh, I know how you got it."
right.
And they would be correct. But I said whenever something like this happens, I will make a random exception if I do not genuinely know if I will ever be able to get my hands on it. And I do it by selling figures that I have multiples of. Like I sell like Transformers Drift from the old Generations line. Was perfect custom fodder. So I stockpiled those. So when I customize Transformers more often, I used to see a mold that I would like, and I just buy them just over and over and over and over. And then when I stopped collecting, yeah, I do still. I am going to get multiple. I'm going to get multiple Krangs if he ever does appear.
Put him
if
up
he ever
again
does
because he's a cool looking figure. Not even as a,
it's
even if he wasn't what he is, that's just a cool looking figure. I like the underbite, which is very Whiplash, which is why I went that way. But
it's very neat. And the thing is,
does he get taller? Does he have a midsection that goes in?
He does. The cage that Krang is in actually extends the body a little bit higher, which made me wonder immediately. As soon as they showed this, I want to know. They're gonna play around with this when I open them. I want to know if you get multiples of this Krang, if you can stack those. Can you stack him like Extendor and just have like just have tons of Krangs on top of each other? Just he's just a walking mobile Krang colony.
If you do that, you need to make them sing the Brady Bunch song while they're like.
I'll have 3 of them walking side by side to make the grid. But yeah, so I will sell multiples of things, like stuff that I collected multiples of way back when has sometimes appreciated in value. So I sold a couple drifts. I made up the money.
I feel like you're defending yourself against accusations that aren't coming.
I know that me personally would look at this and be like, "What are you doing? Don't do that." And I went and I did it. But I'm glad I got this. And
I didn't even think about it. I was like, "Oh, you bought that? Cool."
Don't judge me. Too late. Self-judging is happening. So this is what I got. I'm still stoked. I'm still stoked for this. And I'm going to go see Godzilla and Kong again after this.
Yes, we need to go. Jared needs to see it. So
absolutely, I will. You won't need any excuse to get me to go and see this movie again because it's so much stinking fun.
What time are you going? You're going today?
Yes.
What time?
I'll be going today. Taking the family. It should be I think around like one-ish.
I can't make one. All right.
Don't say that. Come anyway. Just show up.
So last week you had hinted about a topic for today.
I did. And wait, first, what were you gonna talk about? You said you were gonna.
Well, it has to do with the topic you hinted that we were going to talk about.
Oh yes. So in so much that Godzilla and Kong is a great sequel to Godzilla versus Kong, what's better than Thundercats but more Thundercats? So here we go with part 2 of Thundercats.
Yes, and what I wanted to show was my favorite display Thundercats. Like these are the finest Thundercat display figures. These the big ones that I mentioned last week.
Those are the Mezco figures, if I remember right.
Yes, Mezco. Yeah, it says on the bottom. It says Thundercats, Warner Brothers Entertainment Inc., and Ted Wolf.
Good job, Mr. Wolf.
Yes. Ironic.
I hear his brother makes a great Law and Order series.
His brother Ted Cat. But the one I wanted to show was Mumra.
Yes, the Mumra was fantastic.
He's got that great scary pose, and it comes with these things. They're just like, just throw them on him, like confetti.
That's fine. Yeah, when he wakes up in the morning and he's flailing around, like I always kind of wonder. I was kind of wonder if those appeared randomly when Mumra didn't want them to appear. Like he's having a nightmare and he wakes up and he's like, this is the worst. Just the worst.
The face sculpt on Tigra is really good.
The Tigra sculpt is great. Are the arms movable on that one?
Yeah, he's got ball joints that go.
That's really well done.
Yeah,
these are so sad that this line was not able to be finished. Like because the Thundercats in that scale. They're such.
Imagine if they did all the mutants. I mean, they did all the major
That is a great.
Thundercats.
That is a great Chitara. I don't remember that one.
This Chitara is really, really,
The
really well
face
done.
sculpt is excellent.
Yeah. And just the
Oh,
design,
good
the paint.
job.
Yeah. These are
That's that
such
step right out of the
good,
cartoon.
such a good display. And I display them with the sort of omens in front of them.
I found out too late that there is a limited run glow in the dark version of that Mumra that I
Oh,
have never been able to get my hands on, and he
yeah, that
looks
would
amazing.
be amazing to have.
Because that
Put that on
Mumra,
the list for our Holy Grail show.
that Mumra has like even though it came from years ago, one, it still looks amazing.
It
Two,
does.
would still fit right in. Like if you have a like a an old school collection, or if you have the Super 7 stuff, that still fits right in. You put it in the
Yeah.
background.
These sculpts, all
and
of
just
them,
he's
but
so
this
good.
is so good.
Wait,
Even his face sculpt is really well done as well.
I can't tell. Did the arms move on him as well?
Yeah, they all have the same
They
joint.
do. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so much better than I thought.
Yeah,
I thought he
just
was
have them in
permanently
that.
posed. Okay.
No, that's just the pose I like him in. But yeah,
It's very Randy Orton of him.
yeah, it is kind of Randy Orton or like
Out of nowhere,
that is a
Thundercats.
lot like what Ric Flair looks like now when he puts it on.
He wishes he had that six pack.
Oh yeah, he never did. All the figures give him one, but he never
He's
did.
always been just a flat
And
build.
I also like this sculpt because Lion-O is very lean. Like you get the impression that this is a young man cat, but you know what I mean? Whereas Mumra and Panthro have a more,
they're much
bulky,
more filled out.
Yeah. I like that he's even Tigra is, oh, I just killed Chitara. Even Tigra's got broader shoulders than him. So
where did you get these?
I got them randomly all over. It took, I didn't buy them all at once, and I found them in different places when they were out. One or two of them probably from Toys R Us back in the day, and then I found them in a variety of specialty shops and whatnot.
Because I do remember seeing them, but never like it was always either just Lion-O or I mean, just been Mumra. And
Lion-O and Mumra were a lot of places. The other three were difficult to find. Panthro was the last one I found, and that was only maybe, I don't know, just a couple of years ago.
That's great. I don't even remember Panthro coming out. Those are good gets from the past.
Yes.
And they are excellent figures. So let's jump back in. We left off round about the remade, the 2000 series, which I've been looking a little bit more into. Again, I loved the approach that Bandai actually took to the series. So it makes me really sad that apparently both the show and the toy line were canceled due to lack of toy sales, which is a shame because I like that they were going with 4-inch, 6-inch, and we're trying to get into some of that nostalgic, old school, like the figures you just showed off. Plus they had their smaller, it was almost like a 7-inch line of Lion-O, Tigra, I think Mumra. Oh, no, I forgot they made Mumra on that line.
They made Mumra that weird 6-inchy one where the head was too small. They tried to make him look bigger by making the head smaller.
Yeah.
But the Tigra and the Lion-O were fantastic.
Yeah. And they were able to get more.
I think that cartoon didn't do well because they were hoping for the nostalgia, and then people, being design snobs were like, "Oh, I can't have all these changes. Lion-O can't look like that." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was a fantastic redo, and the writing was good, but it didn't lean enough to what was popular in animation style with young kids at the time, which was that kind of zany. So they kind of got just lost in the washer there.
I think that it did a good job of kind of continuing or like giving a story focused on the people that had watched it when they were little. So like we're older now. So if they made a story like the new Voltron that came out on Netflix, that was a show. Awesome. Oh, it's amazing. It's so good. That was made by a group of people, and I'm sure I've used this comparison before, by people who probably watched the show when they were younger and said, "Hey, remember how cool Voltron / Thundercats were?" And they went back and they watched the show and they're like, "Huh, okay, well, remember how cool we remember Voltron and Thundercats being? Let's make that show. And that's what the Netflix Voltron is. And I feel like that's what the 2000s Thundercats was. It was the show that showcased how cool I remember the Thundercats being. And it added different story elements that I loved. I guess I had so little complaints about that show.
Yeah,
Um,
and
I do
no
think
notes. No
I feel like
notes.
it meandered a little bit with the tree people and the Thunder Kittens trying to find that lost city of whatever. But overall, the story is solid. The few changes they put in were great. And I'm really sad that the toy line, I guess, was not pushed enough towards children. But it
Right.
was I don't know. I feel like it was a very kid friendly
Yeah, they just got stuck in the middle.
toy line.
They weren't what the kids were watching at the time.
But
It was
there was a
maybe a little more, I don't want to say mature, but a little more sophisticated. And it wasn't quite married to the look of the olds to get complete buy-in from this nostalgic audience. So
yeah,
it kind of got lost.
because it definitely it did good. The ratings for it were good. Which was probably, you know, older people watching it with their kids, and then the kids probably did not want, because I certainly purchased the toys for both myself and my nephews.
Right.
And they were into there was a lot there were a lot of resurgent shows going on at that time. We still had the new He-Man, Ninja Turtles was still running with their 2000 series.
Right.
The
That Nickelodeon. Yeah.
Yeah, and Lego was still on their jump from Bionicle into Ninjago into a bunch. So there was a lot of stiff competition, and they probably kind of got swallowed up by that. But
Right.
the heightened nostalgia that's going on now, I think, is why the current toy lines that are being offered can have the success that they've had. Like Origins is doing
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah.
Masterverse is doing really well, despite claims to the contrary.
Yeah.
But the Thundercats line, I just recently found out. Do you remember Legends of Chima?
Oh yeah. I love Chima.
So apparently, uh, I guess Warner Brothers was in contact with Lego to try and do some like Thundercat kits, and when it went through, they decided they didn't want Thundercats, but they had already started kind of working on assets and product, and they just turned that into Chima,
Ah, I didn't
which
know
is
that, but that I love
it
the Chima
makes
story.
it
We
makes all
don't
the
want to go
sense in the
too far
world.
because we're going to do a Lego episode
Yeah,
eventually. But
absolutely. But
man, I love Chima.
I remember when
All
that
those
came out.
blues and the translucent. Oh,
Yeah,
fabulous!
when that show first came out, my immediate thought was, "Holy cow, is this Thundercats? Why isn't this
Yeah,
just Thundercats?" Apparently, it was supposed to be,
nice,
but that's
good info.
and apparently it went on to have like 3 seasons, which is one season more than Thundercats got. It's just unfortunate. Uh,
Yeah,
so let's move on to current Thundercats. I'm
and
sorry.
that
What
Ultimates line is so good.
one more pre the Funko had started doing kind of He-Man basic figure
Mhm.
characters with the DC characters
Right,
like
those
Batman, Superman, and
primal look.
Mr. Freeze. But then they also did Thundercats, which
Yeah, I have a couple of them.
what did you think of those?
Uh to be honest,
Mhm,
I bought them only because they were inexpensive.
mhm.
They at the time were 9, 10, $12 maybe,
Yeah.
and they were Thundercats.
Mhm.
I mean, that's if they were any more expensive, if they were $20 a piece, no
Mhm.
way, I wouldn't have bought them. But I did like, I mean, they were Thundercats and they were inexpensive, so
Yeah.
I bought them. And
Yeah.
they look good. They look good with the old He-Man figures. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Because I have my Thundercats shelf. I
mhm.
have my He-Man shelf.
Yeah.
But then, it's nice to put consider you have like the origin He-Man with that Thundercat, and then you
Yeah.
have, this it's kind of a fun little mix.
It was nice seeing them in the scale that allowed you to like mix them seamlessly with one another.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that I'm an articulation snob, so those were a no go for me. I remember
Right.
seeing them and I was like, if only you had. Yeah, I was imagining Origins before Origins came out. I think if
Right. Yeah.
only you
Yeah.
just had updated articulation, I'd be all over these. Uh,
Yeah. I bought them not because I was a big fan of them, but they were
I
cheap and they were Thundercats, so I had to have them.
I did pick up those really cool Joker lizards. Those were really
Yes.
cool. So I got those when they wound up going on clearance at some point.
Yeah.
I would still like to get Ace the Bat Hound
Right.
if I could ever stumble across him super cheap. But
Yeah. That would be
yeah,
good.
the Bat Cave for
Was
that
awesome.
series
Yeah. I
was
didn't get
really
that, but
good.
I got the rest of the series.
Mhm.
You know what else was interesting to me was that the reaction did Thundercats, and
Oh
I
yeah,
was
that's right.
actually excited about the reaction figures
Mhm,
when they first came out, because the first time I saw them,
mhm,
I was at Comic-Con in New York. I don't know, years ago, but
mhm.
that's when I met Kevin Conroy and he signed my Batman animated series box. So it was a great day.
Oh, that's good to have.
But they had the He-Man ones, and I have the prototype colors, the black and white, before they went on the market. I got
Mhm,
them, and I was excited because, again, even at Comic-Con, they were affordable. And then when they were hitting the
mhm.
shelves, they were like $9.99, $10.99 at the time.
Yeah.
And they had so many licenses, everything from He-Man to Pulp Fiction and blah blah blah. And when I had seen those, I hadn't seen any new He-Man toys since the 2000X line.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, these are cool. And the one toy that I never got to stage my He-Man figures with was G.I. Joe or Star Wars. So
Oh,
now
yeah.
I have that's my favorite thing about collecting now, is that
Mhm,
I could put multiple universes. This would have been the dream when I
mhm,
was a kid. Multiple universes on any scale. Like, I
mhm,
now have a Batman that I could use with GI Joe. I have a Batman
mhm.
I could use with He-Man. I have a Batman I could use with Thundercats. I have a like I can combine now because we've got so many multiple
Yeah.
scales. You could put any scale. I mean, I have a Batman I could use with the Smurfs if I wanted to. I have everything. So to say I could pose He-Man or I could pose Skeletor standing next to Cobra Commander,
Mhm.
that
And
was
it
amazing to me, right?
yeah,
So,
and it looks right.
and for $10, they had that
Mhm.
cool retro look. And
Yeah.
then I don't know what happened. The Thundercats came out. I mean, they had everybody from Pulp Fiction to Gremlins to
Yeah.
everyone, Back to the Future. Um, but then something happened and suddenly they doubled in price. And
Yeah, the
I'm not going to spend 22 bucks for a 4-inch 5 points of articulation figure. I'm just not going to do it. But I was excited when the Thundercats came out to again, because they were on the same scale as those He-Man figures that
Mhm.
I had purchased. So again, it's just for display purposes, but yeah, I'm not going to spend 20 bucks for them. But when they were 9.99, I was really excited about those.
Yeah, I think that 9.99 is really is the perfect price point. Anything above that is really you're really stretching it, even if it's a like a specialty one, like a glow in the dark something.
Right.
Um,
I mean, we're talking to a guy who got upset when GI Joe figures went from 2.99 to 3.99 when I was a kid. So
hey, that's a lot. That's a lot of allowance. They're like, I can't cut any more grass. I don't know what you want me to do.
yeah,
Yeah, that's tough. Um, so I guess so. This all leads us to Super Seven
yes,
having the Thundercats line because we went through. Yes, we went through Funko. We went through the. I don't remember if we touched on it last week. I don't like that phrasing. Touched on. That's gross. I don't know if we talked about.
why do you have to
I'm
turn to
sorry.
everything perverted, man?
I
Touched on
just,
is a fine. That was a fine
just
phrasing there.
that just
It
sounds
wasn't. It wasn't weird until you made it weird.
I don't like that. I want to touch on the Thundercats, my dear. Ah, so we talked about, we discussed um the Matty Collector line that attempted to try and run Thundercats
Oh, right.
alongside
Yes.
the Masters of the Universe line classics that they were doing, and
Which
they
which seems like a good plan.
yeah, and they made a decent amount of headway into the characters, so you can get I think Lino, I think Panthro, Pumira. I don't remember who else they managed to do. Oh, they got the Wiley Kit and Wiley Cat were a San Diego exclusive, which
Mhm.
I did get, and then Matty Collector folded and they stopped everything, and it was kind of a shame. And I held on to those for a while, and I remember when it was announced that Thundercats were coming back, I just didn't have faith that they were going to be able to do it again because it had been started
Right.
and stopped so many times that I wound up selling my Thunder Kittens, and I kind of wish I hadn't. Although Super Seven is getting them, so
For
let's talk.
shame, Tom. For
I
shame.
know I had no faith, so let's talk about Super Seven, who
Yes.
now
And
has
I
the
love
Ultimates
because
line.
they do, and they're doing exactly what you wanted them to do. So I feel like you influenced them some way, because last week you had mentioned the original run. We never got any like alternate paints,
Mhm.
and they offered
Oh, they go all into it.
Invisible Tigra and Mirror Lion-O and all kinds of stuff just for you, Tom.
It really is. Like I know that Brian Flynn gets a lot of flack for certain things.
You know, they did the Invisible Tigra in the reaction line too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
You know what? If I was again, I am an articulation snob, so the reaction line is kind of not for me. But I do like the it allows him to play with more gimmicks. Like I said, there's the Invisible Tigra. There's a glow in the dark Mum-Ra that I completely forgot about. But when they released the pre yoked out Mum-Ra form in the glow in the dark version, I got him immediately. I will get pretty much any version, any alternate version of the Thundercats. I got the deep freeze Lion-O that was a convention exclusive.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
was it Hook Mountain Lion-O?
Yes, you throw him in the freezer and he hangs out with Zartan. He's like, "You too, huh?" That one is great. The glow in the dark Chitara, which confuses me a little bit. I don't know anything about the ins and outs of glow in the dark plastic or what dyes are used or whatever.
It's just radiation.
Yeah, we don't need to have any kids anymore. We have toys. That's what's most important.
Kids and toys don't go together.
Like the yellow glow of her, I picked that up, but she doesn't glow yellow. She glows green, which is a little weird because the plastic is yellow. But I don't care because it looks.
What kind of Franken-science is that?
It is very strange. I figured she would just glow yellow, but she does not. I picked up.
She is more of an autumn. You know, you'd think yellow.
Yeah. I got the Invisible Tigra, of course. I'm anxiously awaiting the dream, like nightmare version or dream version of Mum-Ra that's coming out. Was offered in the last selection.
Barbie Dream Mum-Ra?
Yes, absolutely. and I think we may have talked about it. I would love to see Mum-Ra haunting the dreams of Barbie.
Right.
Or better yet, haunting the dreams of Ken. What is this Casa house?
I think more entertaining would be Barbie haunting the dreams of Mum-Ra.
just glamming up Castle Plundar. He
Mum-Ra's having this nightmare about rollerblading in LA with a pink scarf.
It would be like the video for Dream Warriors that happens at the very end when Freddy wakes up in his bed and he's like, "Who are those guys?" So but I'm looking forward to clear dream Mum-Ra. I like that Super 7 was able to give us the Ghost of Jaga because they gave us they gave us the regular Jaga, which I actually do still have to get. But them making the Ghost version, because that's how he spends most of the show after he pilots them to Third Earth.
With that kind of Jedi glow.
Yeah, so it's like having a Ghost Jaga almost makes more sense than having regular flesh and blood Jaga. But I remember it appearing. It was around for a little while. I don't feel like it was not a CollectorCon sellout. No. But then it was gone. And I guess people maybe missed the window on. There was a pre-order window for that. And I think people had gotten comfortable with Super 7 stuff going on clearance because some of their stuff had gone on clearance when distribution became wonky, when COVID hit and there was all that happening. Distribution was weird and people may not be able to get a hold of it. But once it started to come out and people were expecting to be able to just buy it, you couldn't. So the aftermarket on that thing became absurd. And then Big Bad Toy Store will randomly be like, "Hey, here's a random
here's this guy for
like,
$25, $30. Yeah.
But they'll also just randomly restock. They'll be like, "Yeah, here's like 60 more of these guys," and it will go up. And I remember seeing it because I missed out on the pre-order, and I remember seeing it on Big Bad. I ordered it, and I didn't think anything about it. And then later that day, the eruption happened where people were like, "Big Bad had this; it sold out in like 5 minutes." I'm out my Ghost Jaga. And the aftermarket on him, I haven't checked it recently, but it's absurd.
Yeah, it's high.
But I love that they do those kinds of figures. If they wind up making, I hope they do this for all the Thundercats. I don't care what kind of weird variation may or may not have happened to them. I want variants. And
aside from the variants, they went deep into the character library. I mean, with Willa and you finally got like a cool Bengali.
Because I don't think we ever got who was the cop?
Mandora.
Yes, we got her and her vehicle, and I know
that was an amazing figure.
Yeah, it looks great, and I know like vehicles aren't for everybody, but that was it looked great. Speaking of vehicles, the Thunder Tank.
Oh my God.
Oh
Every
my
time
lord,
I
the
go
Thunder
look at
Tank.
it on Big Bad Toy Store just to look at it. It's like a family photo. I look at it and I reminisce.
If it wasn't for the lack of real estate and just not having the display space for it, it's so good looking. They did such a good job with it. It does everything the original does plus more. You can fit what, like 4 or 5 like ultimates
Oh yeah,
inside of
it's
it.
an amazing piece.
It looks amazing. The only thing that broke my heart more than not being able to get the Thunder Tank is not being able to get Cat's Lair.
Right.
Because
Yeah, we discussed that.
I remember when, do you remember when they started teasing that, when the solicits were
Yeah.
popping up and everyone's like, there's no way there's no way you do a Cat's Lair. Like, you just
Yeah.
can't. Because like the timing, and it's so big, and it would have to be gigantic, and then they announced it. And oh man, that I am Wolverine laying in bed holding a picture of Cat's Lair.
I see
Just
that one.
wishing,
I don't even look at the pictures. That's like
just
a
wishing I could have it. And
yeah.
this is from someone that has Eternia, and it's just sitting in storage.
Right.
I still want Cat's Lair because it looks unbelievable. Like, that's one of like the cornerstones of, our childhood. Like, there was
Yeah.
the original Cat's Lair, and I didn't have it, and I always wanted it. And this version is just, it's just chef's kiss. Everything
Yeah.
about it looks
It
amazing.
is fantastic. And they did such a good job on all of the characters, but some of the like Vulture Man always was much more
Hmm.
detailed than the Thundercat
Yeah.
characters. He had,
Hmm.
again, you could see the like scale, like the bird scaling skin on his chest and stuff,
Hmm.
but the Ultimates Vulture Man is just incredible. Like, he's creepy. Like, he was just
Yes.
like a
It.
figure. You know what I mean? He looked cool. He had some cool aspects to him,
Hmm.
but but the new one, he's like a nightmarish. He's a creepy looking guy.
Yeah, they do a really good job, really capturing. It's a great combination of both the cartoon look, but also getting just a little bit of realism into them to
Right.
make those characters look as disturbing as they should
Like
be.
Mongor,
Uh,
the first offering of
mhm.
Mongor wasn't very intimidating, even though he was monstrous in the cartoon.
Yeah,
But the Super 7 Mongor is a thing to behold. Like, if he was coming at you, you'd like, I think I'm gonna go hide, right?
and I really like that they get into like, we're getting characters that, well, were never in the original, that were such, like, I like deep dive characters. So we're getting like, I forgot her name. She's one of the Amazon women that they encountered. Um, there's that funny kind of lizard character named Quick Pick. He had like
Yes.
the little clippy hands. He's coming, and this is the first time we're going to be getting Child Lion-O, which I think
Yes.
is awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cool.
and I know that there are lots of points of contention about the pricing. Like, I have them too. I don't think that Snarf packaged by himself
Should be
warrants a full
$60. Yeah, yeah.
price point. On the flip side, Retaro looks amazing.
Yeah, and
Uh,
he looks like a rat. His shape,
yes,
like, he looks
full
very rat
size.
like. Yeah,
I like that they kept kind of like the catfish whiskers on
yeah.
the front of his face. It comes with all the weapons, like a full payload. So I guess to try and offset that, you're gonna have to pay full price for Snarf. But give me 2 Snarfs.
Right.
Give me 2 Snarf bodies, and one is his obnoxious nephew, who I
Oh.
just wanted to see thrown into a lake of fire.
Well,
It's just awful.
make a 2-pack of 2 of the burbles and then put one of them
Yes,
in with Snarf.
100%.
Yeah.
I would see that. Then I would buy it in a second. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
There'd be no hesitation. Give me burbles, Brian Flynn. Give it. I want to see burbles, and I don't know, based on I don't know what kind of feedback they're getting, but it doesn't seem like they know how big of how big a fandom the 2000 series has.
I was just ready to say it would be
I
cool if they did what Masterverse is doing
Oh, that would
and
also be really cool.
pull all the,
Hmm.
skipping Thundercats Roar
Hmm.
and pulling the two worlds together
Hmm.
and making Ultimates version of the 2000 series would
especially
be.
be, Especially because, like, I don't know what kind of rights things you would have to go through, but the 2000 series established that Thundercats and Tiger Sharks and Silverhawks are in the same universe. I mean,
Yes.
and they are
And
doing
they are
Silverhawks, which
doing
is great.
those.
Uh,
Mhm.
and if you're watching this now, Big Bad randomly has Monstar's Throne on sale for like half price.
Yeah.
Go get it. But I love that they that show established all these great connections that you always kind of wanted as a kid. Like everyone knew the same animation company worked on those shows,
Yeah,
and they were great. So you wanted to put them all
Superhawks
together.
is another one where the opening to that cartoon was amazing.
Oh, so good. I don't remember any episode, but I remember that intro.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of people were probably the same way with Thundercats, where you remember the intro. You may not remember all the episodes.
Everybody can sing the Thundercats song.
Yep, it's stuck in your head. It was great. It was one of the perfect shows of the 80s. So I guess that's going to bring us to a close on Thundercats.
Right. You know, it's funny, those things do stick in your head. I actually auditioned for a play once doing the opening monologue from Masters of the Universe as Adam.
It's awesome.
I got the part.
Oh, that's even better. Live your dream, people. Go out there and quote Prince Adam. You'll get the job. Yeah. You should do it people should do it on job interviews too.
Mm-hmm.
I see you work in the freelance. Yes, well, fabulous secrets were revealed to me.
Together with my friends, Orko, Man at Arms.
All right, well, thank you for joining us for another episode. Let us know if you're enjoying what you're hearing. If you have been enjoying the show, please like and subscribe. Get a hold of us on Twitter. Our handle is 2 Guys Talking Toys. That is the number 2, no G after the talking. Same thing for Gmail. Thundercats ho, everybody.
Yeah, and don't turn that dirty. See, why can't you say touched on, but you can say Thundercats ho?
It's a rallying cry. How dare you, sir?
How dare you call me a Thundercats ho?
This is a family show. What kind of family are we appealing to?